An MLB insider revealed the Dodgers' 3 MLB trade deadline once. We've got some external outfield options that could replace Michael Conforto if he doesn't turn his season around, including a player that Dodgers fans have wanted for a long time. Also, we got big injury updates. Tyler Glasnow, Blake Snell, Roki Sasaki. We're talking about the month of July. That's coming up next on Dodgers Dugout Live.
It's time for Dodger baseball. Welcome to Dodger Stadium.
This is the golden age of Dodger baseball. The Dodgers are building a dynasty.
You got it, Warrior Parade. We got it, Parade. The Dodgers punch back and head to the championship series. Ohtani starts the 50-50 club. Mookie Magic. Freeman hits the ball right field. She is gone. Start the party, Los Angeles. Your Dodgers have won the World Series.
Think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.
What is up, Dodgers Nation, and welcome to the Dodgers Nation Dodgers Dugout Live. My name is Doug McKain, credential member of Dodgers Media. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. If you haven't yet, do me a huge favor. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, hit the like button for your Los Angeles Dodgers. Also, do me a huge favor. If you're new to the channel, definitely check out our other stuff, the Discord. It's an awesome way to interact with Dodgers fans. I'm in there. Noel's in there. A lot of people are posting, talking Dodger baseball all day, every day, 24/7, 365. Also, Lakers fans, The Big Lead. That's my other channel where we talk about all things sports with a big-time emphasis on the purple and gold. So definitely go and do that. Dodgers Dugout Live poll question of the show. I asked you guys over on the X, did the Dodgers need to trade for an outfielder? And right now, 63% of you say yes, while 37% of you say no. So lots of Dodger baseball to get into. We got Noel. He's looking for all your comments of the show, all of your questions that we'll answer during the 7th inning stretch later. Had a shorter 7th inning stretch yesterday for the Jam Pack show. Going to try to have a longer one today. So have those comments ready. We'll highlight them. Anything funny, anything insightful. You guys know how you do. Best commenters in the game. Drop those comments. We'll read them during the show. But lots of Dodger baseball to get into. So let's get right into it.
Leading off, the hottest story in Dodger baseball.
So if you feel it heating up, that is because the Dodgers summer is upon us. And the Dodgers now start July against the Chicago White Sox, a White Sox team that is bad, but they're not Colorado Rockies bad, right? They're definitely one of the worst teams in baseball, but a little more respectable than they were last year when they set a major league record with 121 losses. But this is a Dodgers team that has the opportunity to really separate themselves in July. We talked about it yesterday, but here's some things that I want to see in July. We'll get to the trade rumors. We'll get to all that juicy stuff in a second. But for a minute, let's focus on the team that we have now. And let's focus on a team that went through July and really outperformed in a lot of different ways. They've won 6 straight series. They've won 15 of their last 20 games. And that's after losing 5 of their first 7 games in June. And in June, you go on this run where you go 17-10, and all of a sudden, you have a 7.5 game lead over the Padres, an 8 game lead over the Giants. You had series wins, 2 over the Padres, 1 over the Giants. You took 7 out of 10 of those games. And you did that even with the top of the lineup struggling. Mookie Betts, my goal for him in July, let's see Mookie Betts. Let's see Mookie live his Betts life once again. Let's find a way to get the Mookie Betts that's been a great hitter throughout his career, an MVP level bat, back to what we've seen from him. Because in June, he struggled. Hit 240. Had a 74 weighted runs created plus, was 26% below league average. Freddie Freeman hit 200 in June. Had a 58 weighted runs created plus. Teoscar Hernandez hit 189 with a 62 weighted runs created plus. Let's get a better month from Mookie, Freddie, and Teoscar Hernandez. The Dodgers 1 through 4 hitters during the month hit just 140, and they still had a good month. Another thing I want to see this month, can we get a lead early? Can you not trail? Because that was the story for LA in June. Dodgers pitchers allowed at least 1 run in the first inning in 12 of their 27 games of the month. They only scored first in 5 of those 27 games. They were outscored in the first inning 15-9, but they still were 5-4 in those games. Pitching wasn't the best, and that is evidenced by how they pitched in that first inning. So let's get a first inning lead. Let's not continue that trend. Yes, this team leads all of Major League Baseball in comeback wins by a large margin, but that's not something that you want to live with, right? Yeah, that's not sustainable. You're not going to always come back. Your win probability goes low in those games. Yes, it's great to have that as a part of your DNA, and we saw that pay dividends last year in October, but I think it starts with the Dodgers pitching, and you want to see a better month from pitchers that wear Dodger blue. The Dodgers pitching staff, they allowed more runs per game during June at 4.5 than they had all season. I mean, 4.5 runs per game compared to what we saw from them earlier in the season. That is a number from a run prevention standpoint that they don't want to see. And I think the big reason why is the Dodgers pitchers, they struggle to put hitters away. They had a 20.3% strikeout rate in June. That was 24th in all of Major League Baseball. In April, it was 3rd. In May, it was 9th. So the strikeout rate went low. Dustin May, a 13.5% strikeout rate. Yamamoto's was down a little bit. So there are some ways you can improve. And in July, you're facing a ton of American League teams. You have a series against the Giants before the All-Star break. But this is the month to truly separate if you're the Dodgers. Let's take a look at the schedule. You got a 3-game set at home against the White Sox. Then the Astros come to town for a 3-game set. Houston, they have been a lot better lately. The Brewers on the road for 3. Then you get a day off next Thursday. And then it's at San Francisco, weekend series, the 11th, 12th, and 13th. Then you got the All-Star break. And then after the All-Star break, you got the Brew Crew versus the Blue Crew. You got a home series against the Milwaukee Brewers from the 18th, 19th, and 20th. And you got the Minnesota Twins for a 3-game series at home. Then you go to Beantown. You go to Boston for a 3-game series, 25th, 26th, and 27th. And then a 3-game series against the Cincinnati Reds. So that's how July stacks up. Player of the Month honors. I'm going to get my player of the month to Max Muncy. Max Muncy absolutely carried this team in June. He carried this team in June, absolutely turned his season around. In the month of June, he hit .333, had a .459 on base. He slugged .654, had a .205 weighted runs created plus. He basically was 2 Mookies out there this season in 1 month. That's how good he was. A .205 weighted runs created plus. He had 24 RBI. He was just fantastic. He was the player of the month. And that brings me to my DFA of the day.
DFA of the day.
So my DFA today, it goes to the Padres broadcasting team that is not happy with the fact that Max Muncy is in the mix to be an all-star third baseman for the National League over Manny Machado. That was Padres broadcaster Mark Grant. And for some reason, he thinks that Manny Machado is light years better than Max Muncy. For some reason, the tone there was, oh, not the Dodgers. The Dodgers get everything. They have all the stars, all the payroll, all the fans. I'm sick of the Dodgers. For some reason, hating on the Dodgers is becoming Padres fans' personality at this point. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. It feels like sometimes they hate the Dodgers more than they love the Padres. But let's get back to Max Muncy to Manny Machado. Because right there, what he did right there was actually disrespect Max Muncy. That's what he disrespected Max Muncy because he made it seem like it's some ridiculous take to say that Max Muncy deserves to be the all-star third baseman over Machado? Well, I bring my facts to the fight. Let's take a look at the numbers here. Because Max Muncy, you could make the case, is having a better year at third base than Manny Machado. WAR, Muncy 2.9, Machado 2.5, advantage Muncy. Games, plate appearances, that is Manny Machado. Hits, Manny Machado. Home runs, they're even at 13. RBI, Muncy 55, Machado 47. Stolen bases, 8 for Manny, 4 for Muncy. Batting average, 293 for Machado, 255 for Muncy. On base percentage, Muncy 379, Machado 354, advantage Muncy. Slugging percentage, Machado 477, Muncy 466. OPS, on base plus slugging percentage though, Muncy has the advantage, 845. OPS plus, where league average is 100, Muncy 138, Manny Machado 129. And then you're probably thinking to yourself, well, sure, the offensive stats, they are comparable, but Manny Machado is one of the best defensive third basemen in the sport, right? Hasn't been that in quite some time. Manny Machado is a -3 outs above average in the 11th percentile at third base. Is that better than Max Muncy? It is, but it's not as dramatic as, oh, this is peak platinum glove Nolan Arenado versus this version of Max Muncy. Max Muncy defensively, 5th percentile, -6 outs above average. So just 3 behind Manny Machado. So look, if Manny Machado is the starting baseman for third base for the National League, I have no issue with that. I don't. Could you make the case that Manny's having a better year or at least an equivalent year to Muncy? Sure, you 100% can, but let's not disrespect Max Muncy and act like he's some scrub and then Machado's having some MVP year. That is not the case, okay? And yes, I see fans out there upset that the Dodgers have so many in the all-star categories, that they're leading in so many categories with votes. Whose fault is that? Oh, Dodgers fans should apologize. They should say sorry for, I don't know, filling up their stadium more than any other team in baseball. They're on pace for over 4 million fans. We'll be just the second team to ever do that, first Dodger team. Oh, they should apologize for leading Major League Baseball in revenue and jersey sales. Oh, they should apologize for having an ownership group that is pouring money back into their franchise. Oh, they should apologize for being fans of a team for a long time where it's been generations of fans that, yes, guess what? The Dodgers have a lot of fans, and those fans go to more games than any other fan base. They watch more games than any other fan base, and they vote more than any other fan base. So, yeah, apologize, Dodgers fans, for loving your team. Apparently, that's what Padres fans want and broadcasters want, okay? It's the ultimate rent-free. Dodgers living absolutely rent-free in Padres fans and Padres broadcasters' minds. But don't disrespect Max Muncy. But coming up next, into the juicy stuff. I know you're here for the rumors, the players that they could get. Talk about that, and also a big injury update. That's coming up next on Dodgers Dugout Live. Welcome to the Dodgers Nation Podcast Network, your front row seat to everything Dodgers all season long. Home of the #1 Dodgers podcast in the world, Dodgers Dugout Live, hosted by me, Doug McKain. Friends call me D-Mac, and we cover everything about your boys in blue, everything you need to know about Dodger baseball in less than an hour. We've got breaking news, post-game breakdowns, roster updates, trade rumors, in-depth player analysis, Dodgers trivia, you name it. Whether it's a wild walk-off at the Ravine, a key call-up from OKC, we've got the insight, we got the coverage, and we're here for you all year long. We're the #1 Dodgers site on every platform, and we're born and based in LA. We're loyal to the soil. Dodger baseball is what we do. Trusted by tens of thousands of daily listeners, Dodgers Nation is more than just recaps. We are LA. Whether you're in Echo Park or out in the Valley, Beverly Hills, whatever it is, if you bleed blue, this pod's for you. The more you guys subscribe, the bigger we can build and we can do this together. So stay up to date with our Dodgers Nation post-game shows and breakdowns and podcasts. You can listen while you're lifting, while you're in traffic, or while pretending to answer work emails. We won't tell. Subscribe now on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your baseball fix. So if you're a new listener or a longtime listener of the podcast, write us a review and we'll read it on the show. Join the conversation, stay ahead of the game, and never miss a pitch with the Dodgers Nation Podcast Network. And welcome back to Dodgers Dugout Live, #1 Dodgers podcast and Dodgers show on YouTube. Got some comments down below. Mr. Classic, I better not see Miguel Vargas look like Alex Rodriguez this series. We've got Carmen Alexander, preach D-Mac. Jay Valdez, D-Mac is cooking with straight facts. Hate us because they ain't us. Give you a let's go Dodgers. AU Padres, Madres will only get madder, and they are an incurable cases. Okay, the Dodgers Padres hate is always very interesting for sure. We've got David Guzman, vote for Max over that loser Machado. Hey, look, that's the thing. The Dodgers fans now, I don't think he realized what he was doing. What he was doing, he was putting fuel on that fire, and then he added a couple more matches, and then what this is going to lead to is Dodgers fans voting more for Max Muncy to spite Manny Machado. I don't think that he realized that actually possibly hurt Manny Machado getting more votes, because now Dodger fans everywhere, they're at their desks at work, and there's, okay, 5 times a day, vote for Max Muncy. So if you're watching this, vote for Max Muncy and the rest of your Los Angeles Dodgers. But okay, let's get into some rumors.
Dodgers Rumors Roundup.
All right, so the trade deadline, we're getting closer and closer. I'm always trying to keep you up to date to anything we're seeing, anything I'm hearing. And we're going to start with a piece that Bob Nightingale wrote where he had some nuggets about the Dodgers. And the first one we're going to talk about is the closer spot. Bob Nightingale writes, the Dodgers are always looking for bullpen help and would like another late inning reliever like Rays closer Pete Fairbanks. So Pete Fairbanks, a name that the Dodgers have been linked to a couple of different times throughout the years. It's been really good, really solid throughout his career. In his career, in the regular season, 237 innings, a 3.19 ERA, 292 FIP. You really like his ability to strike guys out at a high clip, a 30.2% strikeout rate throughout his career, 9.9% walk rate. This year, the difference with Fairbanks, even though the velocity is still there, it's still one of the best in the league, 97 plus. His strikeout rate has gone down to 20.1%, but he's still very effective. The surface level stuff, 253 ERA. But you look deeper, the FIP, things like that, 271 FIP in 32 games, has not allowed a home run. He's been really good for that Rays team. Now the question is, one, will the Rays be willing to trade, considering that they are in the driver's seat to make the postseason? Right now, they have a 2.5 game lead in the American League wildcard race, and you're just a game and a half out of first place in the American League East. So, yes, they are looking like they're going to make the postseason. Then you look at his contract. It's a valuable contract for a team, especially like the Rays, that is always carefully managing their money, right? They're the opposite of the Dodgers when it comes to spending at times. He has a salary at $4.15 million that goes against the luxury tax, has $3.8 million of that's getting paid to him this season. So, I mean, when you look at what he's owed, essentially, you're talking about a dollar amount that's just more than Alexis Diaz is getting paid from the Dodgers, right? Diaz committed that $2.9 million with the 110% surcharge because you are repeat offenders and you're in that Cohen tax bracket area. You have to pay more, but still, it's not an insane amount. And also, from a value standpoint, he has another year of team control, a $7 million club option for 2026. So I think if you're the Rays, sure, most franchises, most teams wouldn't think about trading their closer, their best reliever, when you're ahead in the wild card, you're a game and a half back in the division, But this is the Rays we're talking about. And the Rays are the same team that traded Tyler Glasnow to the Dodgers for Ryan Pepiot and Johnny DeLuca. And Ryan Pepiot was much cheaper, more affordable, under team control. And how has that worked out for the Rays so far? Ryan Pepiot, who's pitching with a lot of Pepio in his stepio this season, in 17 games, 96 in the third innings, Ryan Pepiot's posted a 3.36 ERA. He's been really good for them. So if I'm the Rays, I'm thinking, well, can we get cheaper? Can we get better? I mean, what if they looked at one of the young arms for the Dodgers and the Dodgers say, you know what, we want to kind of go the veteran path, a true bullpen guy that's been in those spots in his career like Fairbanks has versus some of their hybrid type of guys, the Robleskis and that group. It's interesting. Now, the other question is, would the Dodgers be in a position where he would make sense based on what they look like? Because if you look at the Dodgers postseason bullpen, let's say they trade for for Pete Fairbanks, and you have him and Tanner Scott as those top two guys trying to get saves. I mean, Fairbanks has 78 saves in his career. 63 of those are in the last two seasons. So that's really what he's become, a guy that has locked into that role as a closer. And you look at the Dodgers postseason bullpen, Tanner Scott, Pete Fairbanks, Alex Vesia, Michael Kopech. You're at 4. Kirby Yates, Ben Kasparius, Jack Dreyer, Anthony Bonda. The big question marks, Blake Trinan, Alexis Diaz, Brusdar Graterol, Edgardo Henriquez. I think Emmet Sheehan is going to be used in a hybrid style role. You look at the starting rotation, Yamamoto, Snell, Glasnow, Kirsch, Shohei, who doesn't count against that roster spot. So really, you look at all these names, you would have to not feel great about some of the guys coming back to really want to invest in a Pete Fairbanks. But maybe they want to do that. Maybe they just really want to protect themselves and add another arm. Because let's not forget, they lost Evan Phillips. And they essentially replaced him with Alexis Diaz. But there's no guarantee that Alexis Diaz is going to work out. We'll see if it does. We will see if it does, but there's no guarantee. So just a name to throw out there. I'll give this 2.5 Dodger dogs. People are talking, but I do think there is a little smoke there. All right, switching gears. Another nugget from Bob Nightingale. Bob Nightingale says that the Dodgers could be in the market for an outfielder if Michael Conforto does not turn things around. He writes, they are seeking another outfielder with Michael Conforto's struggles. So based on that verbiage, he's saying they're already looking and maybe they're going to give Conforto the shot to turn around. But it sounds like they're saying to themselves, hey, we know we got to find another guy. So I'm going to throw out 5 names really quickly here as possible options. First one, won't spend a lot of time on because we talked a lot about on the show. And this would be a big, almost a reclamation project at this point, but that is Luis Robert Jr. He's still around. He still could be available. I think the positive for Luis Robert Jr. is that the price tag for him has gone down, right? Today's price isn't yesterday's price, but I think today's price is cheaper than yesterday's price because of the performance that he's had this season. He just has not been good at the plate. He would need a change of scenery. He has a 64 OPS plus. He's hitting 185. 8 home runs for Luis Robert Jr. Still playing really good defense in his contract. He's taking home $15 million this season and has $20 million club options for 2026 and 2027. The pro for that would be the defense definitely gets better and solidified. And the other thing is he has flashed so hard in his career. I mean, in 2023, when he made his only All-Star team, he finished 12th in MVP voting. He made the All-Star team, hit 264, had a 130 OPS plus, hit 38 home runs, had 36 doubles. So he's still young enough to maybe the Dodgers could fix him. But the next guy I'm going to talk about is Adolis Garcia. This would be my number one choice if they were to go out and make a trade at the outfield spot. because Garcia this season, I don't know if you saw last night, he had a big electric moment. And yes, Adolis Garcia has had a down year by his standards. I mean, his weighted runs created plus on the season is not that much higher than Michael Conforto, but he had a better June. He had a better June after he got off to a hot start. Then he kind of went off to a slow, and he kind of picked it up. And then I think the big question for him is, do you think that guy that had all those postseason moments is still in there? He has got one more year of team control. This year he's hitting 225 with 82 weighted runs created plus. Hasn't been great for a couple years. He's hit 10 home runs. What I like about Garcia, though, is 94th percentile in average exit velocity, 79th percentile in barrel percentage, 85th percentile in hard hit rate. So he hits the ball hard, barrels it up, average exit velo. These are things that the Dodgers look in hitters. The reason why they signed Michael Conforto is because he was hitting the ball hard in San Francisco. The results just weren't there because of that bad ballpark, and he had a really good finish to his season. But he's also an average defender, which is good. He's in the 94th percentile on arm strength. So with Pages and Garcia, you would have two of the best arms. And also, you look at his postseason history. It was just 1 year, but has an 1108 postseason OPS, won the ALCS MVP in 2023. And the other thing about Garcia, too, is you're just not committed long term. So if you're looking for some pop, a guy that has postseason experience, a guy that is not going to hurt you defensively, he's a guy. Will the Rangers look to be sellers, though? That's the big kicker in all this. With the expanded postseason, that is the big conundrum that a lot of teams like the Dodgers face, is just so many teams have a puncher's chance that you wait until late to punt. And you look at the AL West right now, the Rangers under 500 at 41-44, 3.5 games back in the division, but you have one good week, 2 good weeks, and it's not outside the realm of possibility to think that you can't make the postseason. Right now, the Rangers 3.5 games back of the final wild card spot. So that's another possibility. I get a lot of you people asking me, D-Mac, when are we going to get Randy Arozarena? And right now, the Mariners, they are in the wild card at 44-20, and they still have a chance to compete in that division. They're 6 games back of the Astros, who have turned it on of late. Houston's really turned it on. That was my World Series pick, by the way. Dodgers, Astros. Kirsch gets the final out. Still dreamy of that. But look, if the Mariners slid, if they decide to be sellers, if you're asking, is Randy Arozarena having the kind of year that would attract the Dodgers? The answer is yes. A 774 OPS. He's hit 10 home runs, has a 129 weighted runs created plus, a 2 F-WAR, and he's also a guy that you don't have to commit to long term. He's under one more year of team control. He's making $11 million this year. Not great defensively, but not catastrophically bad. He's a -2 outs above average. So that's the scoop on Randy Arozarena, is if the Mariners slid, he would be a massive trade candidate. So I right now, I don't see it, but that would be the answer to that question. Cedric Mullins is another guy you guys ask me about a lot. And Cedric Mullins doesn't really do it for me. That Orioles team has had really the most disappointing season in baseball. They're last place in the AL East, 10 games under 500 at 37-47. Mullins is a guy that I do think can get moved. There's actually a rumor today that the Astros are interested in possibly pursuing him on the trade market. And from a contract standpoint, it makes sense for teams because he's going to be an unrestricted free agent this offseason. So he's going to be dealt. He's 30. This year's hitting .213, slugging .413, 12 home runs and 272 plate appearances. He's right about league average, but a lot of that success this season, he had a really hot start to the season, 983 OPS to start the year, the first 4 weeks. Then he's really slid. His last 158 plate appearances, 526 OPS, hitting 161. The StatCast numbers don't love him as far as hitting the ball hard. He has a 25.7 strikeout rate, so he strikes out a lot. He has a career high 55.4% fly ball rate with not great isolated power or hard contact numbers. So I'm not the biggest Cedric Mullins guy, but I do think that he's going to get traded. So if they're looking to improve at that position, he's a guy that is most certainly going to be dealt. And that you can't say the same about the rest of the guys on this list. Cedric Mullins has had some moments. Just his StatCast numbers are a sea of blue. 6th percentile expected batting average, 19th percentile expected slug. A lot of numbers like that. Defensively, he is slightly above average. One of the weakest arms as far as arm value. Kind of a mid-range arm, but as far as arm value, he's above average speed. So he has tools. Depending on what you could get him for and how bad things were with Conforto, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if you're just looking to upgrade that position in some capacity. Change of scenery, going to a World Series contender could bring the best out of him, but not high on my list. Another guy, Taylor Ward. Get a lot of Taylor Ward questions. He's someone that certainly would be a perfect fit. He's on pace to shatter his home runs career high. He had 25 in 2024. He already has 20 in his first 81 games. Angels are just 2.5 games back in the wild card. Contractually, a $7.825 million salary and one more year of team control. If the Angels are going to move him, now will be the year. The factors for them are, do you want to shake hands with the enemy? We know that they don't want to trade with the Dodgers, especially after Andy Pages has turned out the way he has, and they could add Andy Pages. But I think all in all, there are going to be some names out there. Garcia is the one that I would want if he became available the most. And let's see if Conforto can build on the success that he had in Colorado. If he can turn some things around. I'm still on Michael Conforto multi-hit shoey watch, by the way, Noel. If we get a home run or a multi-hit game from Conforto, I'm going to do another shoey. I'm trying to do I don't want to live with myself saying I didn't do everything in my power to try to help turn his season around.
Hopefully we get back-to-back shoeys with Conforto and then Kershaw tomorrow.
Wow. Okay, that's yeah, man. I'm gonna have to those Jordan 4s are still drying in my bathroom. They do not look good. I think there's some fungus in those. You're gonna have to
do a little grocery run too.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's gonna be on that for sure. Some Mr. Classic says he won't DMAC. So there you go. There's that one. But okay, guys, let me know down below in the comment section what your thoughts on those names. I think for me right now, it's still fluid because if you look at the outfield situation, you know you have Teo, you know you have Pages. Those are the locks. And Dave already said Tommy Edman is going to play more center field, and that means more opportunities for Hesung Kim at second. So if Hesung Kim truly hits anywhere near the numbers he's been putting up, if he's just an above 300 hitter with some occasional slug playing great defense, then yeah, maybe there's a world where you don't have to go out there and go crazy on the market. And you could even use Conforto possibly in a bench capacity, even though he's not a great pinch runner, not a great defensive substitution. Doesn't really profile as a great bench bat, but I think a lot of their activity and potential activity is largely hinged on the next month of play. Does Conforto really turn around? Does Kim really have the potential to hit anywhere near where he has in his limited opportunities, right? Because that's going to be the big question for Hesung Kim. Hesung Kim has been everything that you would have hoped he would be to this point, but even the most bold Hesung Kim truthers will tell you he's not a 383 hitter. So let's see when his numbers start to level out what he really looks like, and that could go a long way in determining what the Dodgers do at the deadline. All right, let's get some comments in here. Keith Potter, D-Mac, what are you drinking out of the shoe? We got Kirsch's beer. We don't know when the date is. I'm not going to read the expiration date. Might have to hit a Modelo for Conforto, though. Herman Huerta. I hope those shoes are clean, D-Mac. We're not getting tired of those shoeys. Yeah, I mean, it's always good fun. I'll bring them out, but a Kershaw would be awesome because we could do the shoey and then we could say, Dodger for life. Dodgers see Showtime fans trade for Joe Adell. He's really had a much better season. Oh, Heasley. D-Mac is moving Mookie to right field off the table in the organization. Give us the inside info. I mean, just reading the tea leaves, it seems like Mookie's made it adamant to the organization that he wants to stay in the infield. And like Andrew Friedman said to me, hey, we're not going to bet against him. And he's proven to them that he can play shortstop at above average level. It just doesn't move to second base makes sense. And if he moves to right field, that complicates things because then you got to move Teo back to left. And then the only way you can play Andy Paz is in center field. And Andy Paz isn't as great of a center fielder as he is a corner outfielder. So it kind of weakens your defense a little bit. And then does Tommy Edman just naturally go in there as your everyday shortstop? Or is it Ha-Seong Kim? Because those guys, the reason why the Dodgers like those guys is the positional versatility. You can plug them in at multiple positions. You don't want to marry them to one position. So we'll talk about that a little bit, but it is Tuesday, and Tuesday is when we got the big Dodgers injury update. So we're going to get into that. Let's get that big Dodgers injury update coming up. We got that one.
I got you.
Let's hit that one. Take some more comments here. Whack'em Sticks. I was at the Dodgers Royals game over the weekend. Shohei actually came over to my 5-year-old son, talked to him, and gave him a ball. Whack'em Sticks. That's amazing.
I got you right here. D-Mag Big.
Let's get into it.
Dodgers big injury update.
All right, so first one, Miguel Rojas was removed in the 8th inning of Sunday's 5-1 win over the Royals. It was an injury to his left ring finger, but Rojas, he jammed that finger. It was an unsuccessful steal attempt to second base there in the 7th inning. He did stay in the game originally, but was ultimately lifted for Ha-Seong Kim, who came in to play the Dodgers. They did say that he's going to undergo further testing. Hopefully he's okay. We'll find out today at Dodgers Stadium if he's fine. He appears to be okay. Here's the play right here. He gets a single. Yeah, he had a really good week. I mean, he's really turned his offense around. And then next we got Tyler Glasnow. So Tyler Glasnow, he is expected to go a couple more rehab starts, and then they're going to hopefully activate him off that 60-day injured list. So the Dodgers were hoping to get 4 innings out of him in his last rehab start. He ended up going just 2.5 innings through 66 pitches. So you're hoping to get more efficiency out of him. But Dave Roberts did say that the stuff looked good. He did say he struggled with efficiency, but he still thinks that Glasnow is gonna have to have at least 2 more rehab starts. So just because he performed poorly statistically, it doesn't mean that he's behind schedule now. Because if he goes back in his next one, he's more efficient, he's able to go 4 innings, do some more up downs, possibly we could see him in the Dodgers' final series before the All-Star break against the Giants. So it's been up and down year for Glasnow, but that's the latest on him. Is yes, this stuff didn't look good. A lot of people were freaking out about the overall line going just 2 1/3 and throwing 66 pitches. The walks were high. It was not the outing that he had hoped for, but I'm encouraged by the fact that he was out there. Because, I mean, after what we've seen from Tyler Glasnow this season, the psychological stuff with getting used to the new mechanics, to the body aches and just the shoulder grabbing, all that stuff is not good. So has it been pushed back? There is some new information really that like kind of suggests that it could be. I think personally, if there's any reason for him not to go, that you got to just push him past the All-Star break. I don't think there's any reason to do that. I think that for him, from a timeline standpoint, he's got to pitch in October for this to make sense. And if he doesn't get there, then it's not going to be viewed as a positive. But I think for him, it's just kind of maintain that balance. He said about pitching more freely, I think it's just been the constant working through. It's hard to go out there and not think of stuff. I think making changes, there's been things where it feels really good, and then it's just like maybe something feels weird. Subconsciously, something changes, or I lower something. I'm not trying to think about it. It's the fine line between working on it when you have to and then going into the game, and then just something, I don't know what it is. It's just not syncing up, and then stuff just isn't feeling good. So that's a lot of like mental stuff right there. That's what it sounds like to me, is the mental stuff. Because last year it was pretty obvious. It was an elbow sprain and he was done. So we'll see. Something tells me that this could push the timeline back just because they're being so careful with their starters. But that's where he's at. Then Blake Snell, not too much on Snellzilla. He is using his full pitch mix in bullpen sessions. He threw another one on June 28th. There's no set date, though, for him to face hitters. And we can't really take the next step until there's a rehab in place. Dave Roberts was asked if he was close to facing hitters, and he said probably not. So even though he's taken a step forward in the bullpen sessions, he's not close to coming back. He's going to have to make multiple minor league rehab starts before you can even consider returning him into this rotation. So it's highly unlikely that he comes back before the All-Star break. That's not even a consideration now. But the question is, how quickly can he come back after the All-Star break? Because they are moving things very slowly with him. Just 2 starts this season. Then Roki Sasaki, kind of a positive here in that, hey, he has resumed playing catch after they shut him down. So he's resuming playing catch, not catch play, not have a catch, playing catch. It always will be playing catch. That's just me. Is there anyone in the comments that does have a catch? I know a lot of East Coasters are about that. Dave Roberts likes to say catch play a lot. But they moved him to the 60-day IL, so that already takes him out until after the All-Star break. But we'll see if he comes back this season. I mean, they've been very vague about the information with him. He restarted that throwing program, and he's playing catch from 60 to 90 feet. So it's something. He did just completely pause it after he was uncomfortable with going full intensity as he was ramping up. So it was a quick halt to him. And the fact that he's on the 60-day IL, you're not going to see him for a while anyway. I think that they're just going to take it day by day, week by week, month by month, and they're not including him in their master plan this year. I think it's just a bonus for them. If Roki pitches great, if he doesn't, we're not going to view it as this major loss because we weren't factoring him to our grand plan. I think that's kind of how they're viewing him. Then Blake Trinan, he's advanced to using his entire pitch mix during his throwing progression. That's a positive. He threw a bullpen session on June 28th in Kansas City. Still no timetable for him, but he has resumed playing catch. He has gone to bullpen session. So really the next step for him is, hey, when can he go on that rehab assignment? When can he face hitters again? He's probably not going to return to the Dodgers bullpen until maybe at some point before the All-Star break. But I think even at this point, they're probably going to push him back just because everyone that pitched last year during that postseason run, they contributed so much. Short off season. You know what he's about. They want to use him in October. They want to save those bullets for October. So wouldn't be surprised to have him push back as well. Edgardo Henriquez, he threw 13 pitches across 1 inning in his 11th rehab outing for AAA Oklahoma City on June 26th. So Edgardo Henriquez, that's a name that no one's really talking about, that who knows? If a guy goes down, this is a guy that made the postseason roster. He also didn't hurt his arm, right? His injury was a left metatarsal fracture that we still have not received any word on how it happened from him or the organization, but he has made a ton of rehab appearances and he's going to be available at some point, and it could be sooner than later, depending on the health of the current bullpen and guys they're trying to give rest to. Then a couple more. Tony Gonsolin, right elbow discomfort, was placed on the IL on June 7th. They transferred him to the 60-day IL on June 19th. He's expected to return at the very earliest in August. So the good news for the Catman is the imaging revealed that the UCL was intact, but they shut him down from throwing. They haven't given any updates on him. I'm going to try to get an update on Tony Gonsolin from Dave Roberts tomorrow. He's another guy I think they're just kind of stashing away, not rushing back and having as much depth as you can for pitchers. Then Brusdar Graterol, a lot of you asked me about Brusdar. His return is going to be around September. He's hoping to start a rehab assignment in August. He underwent labrum surgery in November. He has resumed throwing, so he is throwing, no setback. So he's a guy that could be in the postseason mix. But all right, guys, now it's time. An extended 7th inning stretch. All your thoughts, comments, and questions about your boys in blue. Let's get into it. Let's do a comment of the show.
The 7th inning stretch.
Bilal K. I see this one. D-Mac said Snell was the right free agent signing and some laugh emojis. Sure. It's not over. It's not over. 2 starts. It's not over. Does it look good now? It doesn't. But I also have a lot of faith in this organization. From what I've heard too, what I've heard on back channels is that they're just being so cautious with Blake Snell that they feel okay with where he's at, and that, hey, if the postseason started tomorrow, they could have ramped him up earlier and they could have had him ready. But the truth is, I still stand on business with Blake Snell. I'm not afraid to say it. I still think that this team's only goal is to win the World Series. And can Blake Snell still have a significant impact on this team winning the World Series? Right now he can, because he hasn't underwent any surgery, because they still feel like he's going to get back. And if he comes back and he's healthy, statistically, he's been the best second half pitcher in the history of Major League Baseball. Think of all the great pitchers you can think of. Blake Snell is right up there for best pitchers in the history of the sport in the second half of the season. Also has a 3.33 postseason ERA. So, look, I know that that's a high wire act for me for Snell. I still feel like, look, everyone said, sign Corbin Burns. He's never getting injured. What I say? I said, that's why I don't want him, because he's probably due for an injury, right? These guys get injured. It can happen in a matter of minutes. They won an ace, and they got the one that has been the filthiest on the biggest stage. So, yeah, I'm still okay with the Blake Snell signing. Johnny Owen, Blake Snell and Roki won't be back until 2026. Roki's possible. Blake Snell's possible. Look, I'm not... look, let's be honest, man. You got to be just completely honest with yourself. With pitching, anything's possible. You're just an absolute fool if you don't think so. So I wouldn't be completely shocked if that doesn't happen. But I think that I have a lot of confidence in the organization that they can get something from both those guys this season. Major Chip Hazard. I understood Mookie at shortstop when Lux got hurt, but now it doesn't make sense to keep trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. I mean, it's a fair point. It really is. I mean, Mookie wants to play shortstop, and like the Dodgers are a really good superstar organization in the sense that part of the reason why they get guys to join this team is they cater to their superstars, and it's worked for them, right? It has worked for them. They've gotten the best out of Freddie, out of Mookie, out of Shohei. It has worked for them. Every time Dave Roberts is asked about Shohei Ohtani batting leadoff, what does he say? He says, go ask Shohei. Why does he say that? Because Shohei Ohtani is going to bat leadoff as long as Shohei Ohtani wants to bat leadoff. And that is all there is to it. And yes, do I have my doubts? I mean, let's say he goes out there, it's the top of the first inning, walks a couple hitters, throws 30 pitches, probably exhausted. Is that the best time to bat leadoff? Probably not. But he's Shohei Ohtani. Superstars get superstar treatment in this organization, and it has worked. Some organizations doesn't work, right? Tatis and Machado have been treated like superstars in San Diego. Has it led to a championship? No. Zenji, I love Glass. He carried us the first half of last season. He's an F1 car, super high-end stuff, but fragile as hell. I like that. It's a great way to put it. In the shop. But when he's right, he takes a backseat to no one. Lucy Chen, Roki should just send into the minor leagues. He needs to start over. I mean, it's a pretty interesting thought in the sense that this is a guy that was 23 that started his entire career in the show. Most big leaguers don't take that path. Milan 15, I spilled pickle juice all over my passenger seat, and I instantly thought of Glasnow. Drink the juice. Yeah, Glasnow likes pickle juice. I love pickle juice. I wish they just sold it in like clear plastic bottles at 7-Eleven. I would chug it. I love pickle juice. I will flip you the bird. That's an interesting username. I'm going to give it bro too. Bro, I'd rather see Noel at the outfield over Conforto and Adele. Adele's been pretty good. I don't know. I'm not sure which version of Joe Adele you've been watching this season, but he's been pretty good. Zenji D-Mac trade May for more bullpen arms. I think that Dustin May really is this year's James Paxton. Hasn't been great, but he's been eating innings. Outside of his last start, he's gone 5 innings in every single start. So he has provided that. Scott Slater, D-Mac, can you tell me again your number one preference for an outfield back? I would say Adolis Garcia. If you could get the guy on a 1-year deal, has potential. I think he would thrive in this organization. I really do. Alex Andre, D-Mac, how do you put up with all this negativity from these clowns? I just get a headache just reading it. Look, my answer to that is I used to be one of those guys. So I totally get it. And the thing I pride myself on about this show is we got your comments on the screen, the good, the bad, the ugly. When we disagree on stuff, it's still there because you guys are one of the co-hosts of this show, right? It's your show. I'm just hosting it, and you guys have a voice, so it's supposed to give the true pulse of what Dodgers Nation is thinking. Sometimes it goes overboard. Sometimes I disagree, but at least it's interesting. Dodgers are like Yu-Gi-Oh! Waiting to draw all 5 pieces of Exodia. Explain that one to me, Noel.
Not the biggest Yu-Gi-Oh guy, but I assume it's just Dodgers in a position of power. That's what it sounds like to me.
Got it. I love it. We've got Keith Potter, D-Mac. How sick would it be for Yamamoto pitching 8 strong and Shohei closing out for the World Series just like the WBC? Let's go. That'd be awesome. Give this little Let's Go Dodgers for that one. That would be fantastic. Scotty doesn't know. Scotty doesn't know. It's a great song. D-Mac, give a shout out to Anna B. We are both fans. Also, you and the crew should do a live watch party tomorrow. And Kershaw hits 3K to his Shoey live. Thanks. I love that idea, but I'm going to be there. I'm going to try to ask some stuff to Kershaw after the game. I think it'd be kind of weird if my whole dress shirt smelled like beer. I was in that clubhouse, smelled like a Modelo, but hey, sounds like a good time. I love the idea. Paul Danny, D-Mac, if Roki doesn't come back this year, would he be considered rookie next season, or will the rookie of the year dreams end? No, it kind of depends. I mean, how many innings he gets this year to qualify. There is a world where he could come back and yeah, we wouldn't have to send those shirts to some foreign country where the Pacers shirts are, where the 2024 Yankees World Series shirts are, where all those shirts are, where the Joe Techno D-Mac, just go ask your local bar if you can buy a bottle of pickle juice. They have it. Really? That's a good hack. Not Noel, you like pickle juice?
I barely came around to pickles like this year. So maybe like in like 2 years, I'll be on the pickle juice wave. I do like pineapple juice a lot though.
Pineapple juice. Pineapple juice is really good. You're a bro there.
Wait, why is that a bro?
But yeah, pickle juice is it hydrates. It's got a nice taste to it. I highly recommend it. Joe Techno D-Mac, Nando Glass now at home combing his hair and singing, "Girl, put your records on." That's such a funny visual. That's a funny visual, but I'm going to give you a finisher for that one. Michael K, I got nervous about Yoshi games because our bats take the day off. Yeah, I mean, the run support per 9, it's at an all-time low with him out there. I don't know what he's got to do. Go buy his teammates some Rolexes. Go get them some Nintendo Switch 2s. Get them I don't know, what are those things called? Labubus? Labubu. I don't know. Whatever's cool these days. Go get them one of those and maybe they'll come around. Because, yeah, as you point out, the run support has just not been there for Yoshinobu Yamamoto. It's kind of insane when you think about it. Yamamoto's getting 2.51 run supports per 9. That is run scoring per 9. That's third worst in Major League Baseball. He's 25 runs while he's been out there this season. It's just he's the ace of the Dodgers. We saw Kersh as the ace, didn't get that run support. Picks Graphics, D-Mac, Dodgers need to trade for Pete Fairbanks. Yeah, we talked about that at the top of the show. It's certainly something that might be interested in. We've got Christopher Castellano. It's my show. You're fired, D-Mac. Just love you guys. I like that. Fire take. Joe Techno, D-Mac. I go to festivals and I only bring pickles to eat and drink the juice. Don't want to use any, don't know what that said, but to Doug Slay and D-Mac, see you at Chavez tomorrow. I am flying in. I'll buy a Modelo for the Shoey after Kershaw's 3Ks. My man, Doug Slay, I appreciate you, my man. Milan 15, King Taco, pineapple juice. Bruh. We've got Reno-san. Makes no sense to have Yamamoto's bobblehead night the night after he pitches SMH. It kind of does, just because he can be a part of the festivities. He can go out there and be involved in the first pitch. He doesn't have to stress about it, too. It's not like an extra distraction. Big Joe Smash, D-Mac, trade for Mackenzie Gore, send Outman, Bob Miller to DC. Take a lot more than that to get Mackenzie Gore. Whack'em Sticks, I was at the Dodgers-Royals game over the weekend. That was awesome. Michael K, D-Mac, you got to do a shoey shirtless in honor of Kersh. That's actually kind of funny. I'm actually kind of considering that. We got to bring Antonio back. Antonio has to come in that day because Antonio has gone shirtless on this show.
Do you remember when you had him mimic Tatis like when he was
the
trolling
tongue?
Dodger fans with the
yeah,
tongue?
he did that.
Insane.
Yeah, he did that crazy
They're
tongue
gonna
thing.
screenshot you, bro.
What?
They're gonna screenshot you.
They already have me on the glizzy.
You're
It's
gonna be
over.
on Doyer's Dave Twitter later.
It's shout out to him, man. It's always it's over for me already with the glizzy shot. But yeah, what's up, Antonio? AU Potter, in terms of personality and sportsmanship, Muncy has already won by a mile. Aw, I like that one. It's a nice one. Can you get a nice little Dodgers for life for that one too? We've got a D-Mac needs to bat leadoff and DFA Ohtani. What the bruh? Oh my gosh. That's the worst comment of the show, but I respect it. Bilal K, HSK is simply not an outfielder. Roberts is trying to force his square into the circle with HSK in the outfield. I agree with that. I mean, the thing about HSK is if you're going to use him this year, it has to be at second base or shortstop. Because would you really trust Haesung Kim in center field in the postseason? I think that's unfair to him. I mean, we saw what happened to Gavin Lux a couple years ago against the Braves when they tried to put him in center field. That's a difficult position. I trust Tommy Edman in center. I will flip you the bird. Bruh, how funny would it be if the Padres signed Lynn? I'm here for that. I told you my punishment. I told you Shohei should have gotten a negative suspension. And part of that was the Padres were forced to sign Lance Lynn, and Lance Lynn had to pitch to Shohei for 4 at-bats. I'm telling you. Ozapa, D-Mac, another Robert Jr. let it go already. Actually, I'm not that high on the trade right now, to be honest with you. I'm just listing possible names for that one. I want Garcia. 2 Charlie 7 NFS. Just try Kim every day. If it doesn't work, go to the market. Steve Levins. Now we're starting to think the same. I wouldn't say every day, but you're going to see his starts go up. Hopefully double. Hopefully you see him at the very least 3, possibly 4 starts a week. Hopefully that's what happens. And they still want to see what they have in Conforto too. So you have to consider that. Alex, are they moving Teo to left field? Alex, I think we'll talk about that with Dave. We're gonna fire off that one, see what he thinks about that. They've been pretty firm in that they do not want to do that, but that's where they're at. Okay, Doug Slay and D-Mac, no shirt, Modelo, LOL, Steve Blevins. I wouldn't play good either if I play for the White Sox. Yeah, fair, right? I will flip you the bird. Miguel Vargas striking out for Kersh's 3,000K. Needs to replace Gavin Lux's bruh. There you go. It's a comment of the show. We love you that one. All right, guys, running out of time. That was a 7th inning stretch. We'll chat again tomorrow. But now it's time for the walk-off.
The walk-off.
Hits the ball to right field. She is gone.
So today is July 1st, and happy Bobby Bonilla Day to all those who celebrate. On this day every year, Bobby Bonilla, former big leaguer, he gets a $1.193 million check from the New York Mets, and he will continue to do so from now until 2035. He's collected that check on July 1st, starting in 2011. It's going to go all the way to 2035. Now, Bonilla last played for the New York Mets in 1999, last played in the majors for the Cardinals in 2001. He's getting paid until he's 72 years old from the Mets in 2035. And how this all went about is in 2000, the Mets, they agreed to buy out the remaining $5.9 million in his contract. But instead of paying Bonilla the $5.9 million at the time, the Mets agreed to make annual payments of nearly $1.2 million for 25 years, starting on July 1st, 2011. It also included an 8% interest negotiated into that. And at the time, the Mets ownership, they were invested in a Bernie Madoff account that promised double-digit returns, and the Mets were poised to make a significant profit if the Madoff account delivered. But we all know how that transpired. It was a scam. It was a pyramid scheme. So now they're faced with this, with Bonilla. Now, this past offseason, all the talk in baseball world was, the Los Angeles deferrals, the Dodgers deferring all that money. Shohei Ohtani signing a $700 million contract a couple years ago and deferring $680 million of that. I want to say this. I can't wait for Ohtani Day. We celebrate Bobby Bonilla Day. When are we going to celebrate Shohei Ohtani Day? That starts in 2034 when Shohei Ohtani will start receiving a $68 million payment every year for the next 10 years. So it's going to be really fun to see that. And I think you look at Bobby Bonilla Day, it's kind of become this thing in Major League Baseball. The Mets have actually embraced that, but it's not the first guy to use deferrals. I mean, the biggest difference between the Bobby Bonilla thing and the Shohei Ohtani thing is Shohei is the one that came to the Dodgers with that idea. He proposed that during the height of his free agency, and he's paid just, air quotes, real people money. This is a lot, but he's paid just $2 million per year during the 10 years of this contract. But from 2034 to 2043, he's going to get $68 million per year. So I can't wait to celebrate Shohei Ohtani Day. The specifics of that deal too, and the reason why it really helps this team is it lowers the team's competitive balance tax and how much they owe, where the present day value is at a $46 million hit. So it helps LA's CBT payroll. By the way, did you guys know the guy that sits behind home plate, his name is Dennis Gilbert, goes to almost every single Dodgers game. That was Bobby Bonilla's agent who negotiated that deferred payment contract that's still paying him out to this day. Look for Dennis Gilbert. But that's going to do it for this episode of Dodgers Dugout Live. My name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, hit the like button for your Los Angeles Dodgers if you really want to support this show. Follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. See you guys after the game. And remember, nothing, absolutely nothing brings us together quite like Dodger baseball. And until next time, think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.
Start the party, Los Angeles! Your Dodgers have won the World Series!
And when the upcoming winter gives way to spring, rest assured, once again, it will be time for Dodger baseball.